we're diving into 10 criminally underrated Isekai School anime, where the protagonists are absolutely cracked. Overpowered students, demon lords flexing on everyone, and magic systems that'll make you question reality. Let's rank these hidden gems. Kicking off with number 10, World Break, Aria of Curse for a Holy Swordsman. Look, World Break doesn't win awards for originality, but hear me out. Our boy Moroha remembers his past lives and can wield both magic and holy sword techniques simultaneously. That's basically the anime equivalent of dual-wielding legendary weapons in an RPG, while everyone else is still using wooden sticks. The school setting throws together reincarnated warriors who remember their past lives, which sounds epic until you realize it's also a harem situation. Because of course it is. The action sequences actually go hard though, especially when Moroha stops holding back and reminds everyone why past life experience matters. The animation gets janky sometimes, sure, but watching him casually destroy opponents who've been training for years never gets old. The romance subplot tries way too hard, and yes, the tropes are thick enough to cut with Moroha's sword. But if you're looking for straightforward OP protagonist energy with some genuinely cool fight choreography, this scratches that itch. It's comfort food anime, and sometimes that's exactly what you need. Sliding to number 9, Hagure Yusha no Aesthetica, Aesthetica of a Rogue Hero. Akatsuki returns from a fantasy world after defeating the Demon King, but instead of living quietly, he brings the Demon King's daughter back with him. That's some absolute legend behavior right there. The twist? He's attending a school for people who've returned from other worlds, so everyone here is technically experienced. But Akatsuki's different. This man is confident to the point of being cocky, powerful enough to back it up, and has zero chill when it comes to protecting people he cares about. He's not your typical dense protagonist either, which is refreshing. The action scenes showcase why he actually earned his hero title instead of stumbling into it. Fair warning though, this anime has a lot of mature content and some questionable scenes. If that's not your thing, you'll spend half the runtime rolling your eyes. But underneath all that, there's a legitimately capable main character who doesn't apologize for being strong. The political intrigue between different world returnees adds layers most battle harems skip entirely. Landing on number 8, Knights and Magic. A mecha otaku gets isekai'd into a fantasy world with giant magic robots, and honestly, this is peak wish fulfillment. Ernesti is a programming genius who becomes a kid in a world where silhouette knights exist, and he loses his entire mind with joy. His enthusiasm is genuinely infectious. What makes this show special is watching Ernesti systematically break the magic mech system by applying modern engineering logic to fantasy technology. He's not just overpowered through raw strength, he's intellectually dominant. This nerd speedruns becoming a knight, then immediately starts customizing mechs like he's modding Skyrim. The pacing moves fast, sometimes too fast, glossing over developments that deserved more screen time. But the trade-off is we get more robot action and less training arc filler. Every episode delivers either a new mech innovation or a battle showcasing why Ernesti's designs are superior. It's pure concentrated fun without pretending to be deeper than it is. Sometimes you just want to watch a genius build increasingly ridiculous robots and wreck everything, and Knights and Magic delivers exactly that, without apology. Looking at number 7, the misfit of Demon King Academy. Anos Voldegoad is so overpowered that calling him OP feels like an understatement. This man literally makes other OP protagonists look balanced. He's the reincarnated Demon King who wakes up 2,000 years later to find history rewrote him out of existence. And his response is basically, bet, let me remind you. The school arc is hilarious because Anos casually breaks every expectation. Failed the entrance exam? Doesn't matter, he's still the strongest. Teachers doubt him? He proves them wrong before lunch. The confidence isn't arrogance when you can back up every claim with feats that redefine possibility. What elevates this beyond simple power fantasy is Anos's personality. He's respectful to those who deserve it and absolutely brutal to those who don't. The show knows it's ridiculous and leans into the absurdity, destroying someone with magic by making their heart beat normal Anos behavior. The animation quality varies, but when they commit to a big moment, it absolutely delivers. It's self-aware enough to be funny while still taking its emotional beats seriously. Pure comfort watching when you want someone to just solve problems by being that good. At number 6, Seirei Gensuki, Spirit Chronicles. Ryo starts as an orphan slum kid with memories of his past life in Japan, which already makes for an interesting setup. When he saves a princess and gets admitted to a prestigious academy, the class difference becomes a real plot point instead of just background noise. He's overpowered, but in a more grounded way compared to others on this list. Ryo earned his strength through actual struggle, and the show doesn't let you forget his background. The academy discrimination he faces adds genuine tension because his power can't solve social hierarchies immediately. The revenge subplot against his mother's killers gives Ryo motivation beyond just being strong. When he's not dealing with academy politics, he's building connections across different nations and uncovering conspiracies. The show juggles multiple storylines without losing focus on Ryo's character growth. Some episodes drag with internal monologue, and the pacing gets uneven. But watching Ryo navigate both his past life memories and current world obligations creates compelling conflict. The romance develops slowly but feels earned. It's not perfect, but there's substance here beyond the OP protagonist formula, making it worth sticking with despite its rough edges. At number 5, Isekai Cheat Magician. Taichi and Rin get transported together, which already changes the usual formula. They both awaken as insanely powerful magicians immediately, skipping the weak to strong progression entirely. It's literally in the title. They're cheat characters from episode 1. The show catches heat for being generic and honestly, fair criticism. The plot hits familiar beats, the villains aren't particularly memorable, and you can predict story developments from miles away. But here's the thing. Sometimes generic done competently is exactly what you want. The magic system looks cool, the duo dynamic between Taichi and Rin prevents the usual harem nonsense, and watching them obliterate threats without drama has its appeal. It's comfort food anime that doesn't pretend to reinvent anything. The animation stays consistently decent, the power scaling makes sense within its own logic, and the supporting cast isn't annoying. You're not getting deep philosophical themes or complex character development, but you're getting straightforward OP protagonist action without the baggage. Sometimes you just want to watch ridiculously powerful mages handle business efficiently, and this delivers that specific vibe without complication. It knows what it is. At number 4, Shikakumo no Saikyo Kenja, the strongest sage with the weakest crest. The strongest sage reincarnates specifically to get a better magic crest, discovers the future considers his new crest the weakest, and proceeds to prove everyone catastrophically wrong. That premise alone hits different. Matthias doesn't just surpass expectations, he exposes how much magical knowledge was lost over time. He's teaching while simultaneously dominating, which creates funny moments when he casually mentions advanced techniques lost to history. The school setting lets him systematically dismantle misconceptions about magic while making his classmates question everything they learned. The demon subplot adds stakes beyond academy competitions. Watching Matthias prepare his students for real threats while hiding his true identity creates tension the show balances well. His tactical approach to combat makes fights interesting beyond raw power displays. The animation quality is inconsistent, and some explanations get too technical. But the core concept of expertise trumping perceived limitations resonates throughout. Matthias's matter-of-fact attitude toward being exceptional makes him less insufferable than similar characters. But trust me, number 3, it'll mess with your head in the best way possible. At number 3, Mondaiji Tachi ga Isekai Karakuru so desu yo? Problem children are coming from another world, aren't they? 3 overpowered individuals get summoned to a world where games and challenges determine everything, and they're immediately bored with how easy it is. That's the energy this show brings. The protagonists are problems for everyone else. Izayoi can destroy gifts with his fists, basically making him broken in a world built on supernatural abilities. The show focuses on gift games, high-stakes challenges that are genuinely creative. Watching the trio casually break game mechanics never stops being entertaining because they approach problems from unexpected angles. The short episode count hurts because the world building deserves more exploration. The Demon Lord conflict gets introduced but never fully resolves, which is frustrating when the stakes feel genuinely high. But those 10 episodes pack more creativity than full season shows. The character dynamics carry everything. The three problem children play off each other perfectly, their combined chaos making every situation unpredictable. It respects your intelligence by not over-explaining obvious developments while trusting you to follow the strategic elements. Desperately needs a continuation that'll probably never happen. But what exists showcases how unique isekai premises can be. At number 2, Death March Kara Hajimaru Isekai Kyosukyoku. Sato gets transported during a Death March work session, accidentally nukes a massive army of monsters, and instantly hits max level. Most protagonists work toward being overpowered. Sato starts there and spends the entire show pretending he's not. He treats the isekai world like a vacation after years of programming hell, which creates a completely different vibe. Instead of seeking conflict, Sato wants to explore, cook, and basically enjoy retirement at 16. Of course, his overwhelming power means trouble finds him anyway, but his reluctance to get involved makes situations funnier. The massive party he accumulates includes beast girls, elves, and homunculi who treat him like family. The slice-of-life elements blend surprisingly well with occasional serious arcs. Watching Sato casually solve kingdom-level threats while trying to stay under the radar creates comedy gold. Critics call it slow, and they're not wrong. The pacing is deliberately relaxed, but that's intentional. It's cozy OP protagonist content where you're watching someone powerful enough to ignore most problems actively choose not to. The animation won't blow your mind, but the world-building depth and Sato's easygoing attitude make this perfect background watching that occasionally drops genuinely hype moments when he stops holding back. And claiming number 1, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, Isekai Mao to Shokan Shoujo no Dore Majutsu. Takuma gets trapped in his MMO body as the Demon Lord Diablo, the character he roleplayed as the most powerful player. 2 girls attempt to enslave him. The spell reflects back because he's wearing an item that reverses magic, and suddenly he's traveling with 2 slaves while pretending to be an all-powerful demon lord despite having crippling social anxiety. That premise is absolute gold. Diablo has to maintain his terrifying persona while internally panicking about every social interaction. The gap between his intimidating exterior and anxious inner monologue creates consistent comedy. He's genuinely overpowered, his game knowledge translates to real expertise, but his character flaws make him relatable instead of boring. Fair warning, this show has some mature content and suggestive situations. But underneath all that is actual plot progression, character development, and strategic combat. Diablo's player knowledge lets him exploit mechanics others don't understand, making victories feel earned despite his overwhelming power. The emotional arcs dealing with slavery, discrimination, and self-worth add unexpected depth. What seals the top spot is how the show balances multiple tones successfully. It's funny, action-packed, occasionally thoughtful, and surprisingly heartfelt when it wants to be. Diablo's relationships with Rem and Shera develop naturally despite the bizarre circumstances. Season 2 maintains quality, proving the concept has staying power. It's the complete package. There's your countdown of underrated isekai school anime where the main characters are absolutely cracked. These shows deserve way more love than they get. Drop a comment telling me which one you're watching first, or roast my ranking if you disagree. Smash that like button, subscribe for more anime breakdowns, and I'll catch you in the next video.